Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Gripe, the show for short, sweet reviews of new release movies, plus the one thing that annoyed me the most. And I'm a little bit behind on my episodes, so hopefully I can get caught up before Rogue One comes out this weekend. And today I'm going to be talking about Office Christmas Party, and there will be some minor spoilers. When a struggling tech company is on the verge of shutting down, they look to their boss for a Christmas party miracle. What starts as a simple office party becomes a chaotic, destructive mess. The film stars Jason Bateman, Olivia Munn, T.J. Miller, Kate McKinnon, Vanessa Bayer, Courtney B. Vance, Jillian Bell, and Jennifer Aniston, and so many others. And the film is directed by Josh Gordon and Will Speck. What is one of the simplest archetypes for a raunchy comedy? The party. You have a lot of people drinking, smoking, messing around, so stupid things are bound to ensue. It's a common trope and it's not likely going to go away. Like the road trip or the vacation comedy. These are just common tropes that are always going to be there in comedy. But this one asks what would happen if a boring office party got the Animal House treatment. And obviously you know what's going to happen because subtlety is never a part of this story. The question is whether it does enough to distinguish itself as a memorable comedy. For what it's worth, Office Christmas Party has a solid army of comedians in the cast. The sad part is that so many of the gags are things we've seen before. You got butts on the copy machine, you got fat suits, you got people getting stuck on the roof. I mean, basically it's a fundraiser story, like close the big account so they won't have to close the branch, we got to raise $10,000 to save the school, that kind of trope. And of course, the people who are in charge of this whole scheme are doofuses, especially led by T.J. Miller. But even if that fails, they have that magical Hail Mary in their pocket just in case everything goes wrong. So, I really can't begin to count the number of cliches that are scattered in this movie. Yet, no matter how many cliches and tropes they glue together into this amorphous mass that they call a movie, sometimes it actually works. You have Bateman, who plays the straight man, which is pretty much his MO thanks to Arrested Development, and obviously he does that well, even though it feels like he's been just typecasted into that role. Olivia Munn is one of the shining spots in the film as this confident hacker type. Her comedy is a little bit more subtle, but it definitely works. And while I do love T.J. Miller, here it feels like he tries way too hard, much like he did in Deadpool. It just feels like he's just trying way too hard. And it also felt like Kate McKinnon was underused. She's delightfully creepy and weird throughout this movie, but it almost feels like she was such a supporting character, they didn't use her talents enough. I also did like Courtney B. Vance. He has a great turn in this, especially when he gets shot in the face with cocaine. The thing about a movie like this is there's a part of us all who have office jobs that fantasize about something over the top like this. And there's a bit of pointed satire about working in the corporate world here, but it's nowhere near as effective as something like Office Space or even Arrested Development. But in the end, it feels like they just didn't go far enough to skewer clueless corporate America. The opportunity was there, but I don't think they capitalized it as much as they could have. The execution just doesn't always work, especially when it tries to be The Hangover. There were a lot of missed opportunities, especially as the party itself becomes background to, gotta save the boss type of scenario. Again, so many cliches. And with a movie like this that is just, stupid, silly fun, it's like, how do I pick a key gripe? I have way too many of them. But there was one thing specifically that really did bug me. This is a raunchy party comedy, so obviously it has so many things wrong with it. But there was something that made no narrative sense, and it actually bugged me to the very end. Jennifer Aniston and T.J. Miller play siblings, and throughout the film they are at odds, like they hate each other pretty much. And even though she's portrayed as the bad guy, she's not actually wrong. She's trying to save the company, but obviously it's all about profit and her own personal gain. But, he's not doing his job. He's being a very bad boss. Good intentions, but bad execution. So even though she's over the top, she actually has the experience to make her decisions, and somehow that makes her the villain. I could go into an entire tirade about my problem with that character, but this is just something in the film that annoyed me. Because apparently she can't be the bad guy forever, and she changes her mind as soon as Miller is in trouble. She goes from being the evil sister to suddenly the one leading the charge to help get him back. It's a switch that is so abrupt. There doesn't seem to be any logical reason for it, just with Jason Bateman saying, it's your brother. That's the only thing it takes for her to go from somebody who's hard, cold, and who says very nasty things to an 8-year-old to someone who's willing to, break the law and beat up a bunch of Russians to save her brother. It just, the switch was too abrupt and it really didn't make any sense. I feel like it's used just to set up the need for a Hail Mary, which would have made sense at the start, but that's convenience, and convenience is a staple of comedies like this. But it's still annoying as a trope that it's like, oh, suddenly I changed my mind. Let's go help. Let's go do this. It's just too convenient, and in the end, it just doesn't make any sense. Overall, in the tradition of raunchy Christmas comedies, this probably won't have the same legs as, say, Christmas Vacation. But for all of its familiar paradigms, it still finds a way to make you laugh. And in the end, that's a goal of a comedy. You don't think too hard about it, you just want to laugh. So if you go in without expectations of greatness, hopefully you'll be able to find enough entertainment value to justify watching it. I'm going to give this movie a 5.5 out of 10 for mostly just relying on cliches, having some very funny moments, but overall really struggling to put together a cohesive and memorable comedy. Let me know your thoughts on Office Christmas Party, whether you liked it or didn't like it. I'm sure you probably have some opinions if you have seen it. And that does it for this episode of Key Gripe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Nice work. Good job. If you like what you saw, you can just go ahead and click that subscribe button for all videos past and future. You can also head over to my website and see all the other stuff that I do, including the books I've written. So go ahead, click stuff.